Rev up your engines!
Now, there's belief and then there's reality. Now, here's one that breaks me up. UAW, Sean Fain, their head, slams Donald Trump because he says the lack of commitment to EVs would cost U.S. jobs. Well, they say, oh, we're all for electric cars. The only reason he's for electric cars is because the government is subsidizing all this crap with our taxpayer dollars to pay them. Don't really believe that electric cars are saviors. It's just a money thing. People really don't want electric cars. Ask anybody. People always say, oh, Scotty, he's no fuddy-duddy. He doesn't know anything about these things. I got the machines to work on them. And I know all kinds of people. Whenever I got a problem with something, I can call up my friends. And all they work on their electric cars. And they'll tell me, oh, yeah, here's the thing here you got to do. And then you find out that, gee, in order to change that $50 part on that electric car, I got to drop the battery, disconnect the AC lines, and the customer's going to end up paying thousands of dollars in labor because of a stupid design of stupid electric cars with batteries in them. I know the truth about it. These people that are the believers, they believe electric cars are going to take over. And, oh, people like me, oh, I'm a dinosaur. Some people say, oh, and Scotty, you know, he's paid for by Toyota. I'm not paid for by anybody. You can watch the videos I show when Toyota screws up too. They never gave me free cars to drive around in because they didn't like what I said. Because I tell the truth. I don't play any company lines. I don't believe anything except what I see and what I work with my hands. I don't believe one way or the other, but I can see that battery electric cars are not a savior for anything. Saving companies by the government throwing money into them to build these stupid things. As a mechanic for 56 years, I can tell anybody out there, electric battery cars talk about planned obsolescence. You get a car, the battery costs $17,000 to replace. So what are you going to do? You're going to get rid of the car. Great. Planned obsolescence. They got all this electronic crap. Then when it breaks, if you don't fix it, you can't drive it. So you got an old car, your AC breaks, so you don't drive it with AC. Roll the windows down. You can't even drive these things. And there's a lot deeper things than that. So this belief about electric cars, in case of Sean Fain saying, oh, I'm a Trump and he's going to get rid of electric cars. Well, the government subsidizing all these electric cars, he says he's not going to. It's not because he really believes in electric cars. He just believes in the government handing money to the car companies so his guys get paid more money. That's all that it comes down to. You have to look at things logically. I'm a mechanic. I fix these stupid things. And I'll tell you, they are a disaster or waiting to happen if people start getting them. You think you have a hard time finding a mechanic to fix your normal gasoline car right? Try finding one who can fix an electric car. It's 10 times or 100 times harder to find one, if you can even find one. Well, you see, the Boeing workers are on strike, or bad airplanes they're making, the spacecrafts that don't work. Well, now Boeing says that they're going to axe 17,000 jobs. Now, approximately 33,000 workers are on strike. 17,000, that's like half of that, right? More, a little bit more than half. Maybe all these workers going to strike and find, hey, gee, now we don't have a job. People think they're going to be guaranteed something. In today's economy, they're not guaranteed anything. They make horrible products, just like Stellantis makes horrible products. Maybe the company should go out of business. Let a better company take over from them. Now, of course, Boeing's is going to probably be around for a really long time because they got all the government slash money making airplanes for the Air Force and stuff, right? I mean, that's one of the main reasons that they bankrolled Chrysler when they went bankrupt, because they made the Abrams tanks and stuff. They wanted to keep that going. Follow the money. Don't listen to the horse manure they tell you. Most of it's just money. And they get so much of their money from the government building planes for the Air Force and stuff, make your head spin, right? And the workers, they all decide, hey, we want a bunch more money. Now Boeing's saying, we're going to lay off 17,000 people. If people think that they're guaranteed something, they aren't in these times, especially in a capitalist society. If a company doesn't make it, you can't guarantee them having jobs. It'd be like when we went from buggies and horses to automobiles. The people who made buggies and horses, guess what? They didn't get a guaranteed job, and they had to do something else, right? And in the case of this, maybe Boeing's telling the truth out front, where Stellantis had to deal with the UAW, then they finally made concessions, and now Stellantis, anyways, is shutting down factories and laying people off. Well, Boeing's doing it even ahead of time, saying, no, well, we got to make ends meet. We're going to fire 17,000 people. Well, old Elon Musk has turned Hurricane Helene in Florida into a scam. He said you get free Starlink high-speed internet for you people that were in hurricane. The catch is you have to buy the Starlink kit. He says it's free for 30 days. They have a little note, though. Please note, A Starlink kit is required to access this free service. It's about $400 for a Starlink kit, right? So he's using it to sell stuff to people. You don't have to pay for 30 days, yeah. But you gotta buy his kit, right? And then after the 30 days, you'll be charged. Hey, that's kind of sleazy if you ask me, using a natural disaster to make money for yourself. Yeah, maybe you should have handed the free kits out to people and stuff too, but I guess it costs too much money, right? Well, if you saw some of those videos of Elon Musk's event of the robot bartenders serving people and talking stuff, I immediately thought, this is the fakest thing I've ever seen. These robots aren't interacting with people. They just have voices. People are talking through them. The way they talk, it was absolutely ridiculous, you know. Now, they haven't said one way or another. Old Elon didn't say, yes, they were all working by themselves, and he didn't say, oh, we had people hiding in the back room talking into microphones. But, I mean, just check out some of these clips. It sure looks like people are just talking in a microphone, and then the microphone goes to the robot's head and is talking back to interact with the people. It certainly doesn't look like the robots were actually conversing with people. Well, old Elon said his Optimus robots can be a teacher. Maybe not such a great idea having a robot babysit your kids, right? Especially knowing modern day kids, they'd probably reprogram the robot to let them do whatever they want. I mean, if you watch the stuff, it really looks like these robots are being controlled by people talking and interactions. These interactions were just too much like something out of a movie, you know? I'd love to have a conversation with a real one, you know? Put it inside a giant Faraday box. Like I tell people, if you got keys for your car, you're on holiday or motel or something, you bring a Faraday box, put your keys in it so people can't steal your signal, steal your car, right? Well, you couldn't get signals in a Faraday box, so build a giant Faraday box. And I'd love to talk to one of these robots in the real world, not some fake thing put out to make them look like they're real when it's just total fantasy. What kind of nonsense is this? Uber and Lyft block drivers from working to save money in New York City. Turns out in New York City that rideshare drivers are guaranteed a minimum wage. And they're saying that Uber and Lyft broke the law by locking them out of the app. And they say it's to save money paying them, right? Well, to me, I'm like, this is the most patently absurd thing I ever heard of. The people that drive Uber and Lyft, they're complaining and saying that Uber and Lyft, especially Uber can take up to 60% of the ride money for themselves. Why would they want to lock anybody out that was making them money, right? It makes no sense. If they're making 60% of the fare, why would they lock anybody out, right? Well, after reading the information closely and analyzing it, it looks like what they're doing is they're trying to make their system even more profitable. And they're telling people, don't stay where you are, move to an area where more people are asking for rides. Because, of course, the main problem with companies like Uber and Lyft is if they have too many people in one area, those people aren't going to get rides. No one's going to use them because there's 10 of them on a block, right? And unless 10 people on that block want to ride right now, a bunch of them aren't going to get a job. Sounds to me like it's more efficiency. Go to a different area, right? Why would the company lock people out of getting rides when they're getting most of the money themselves? It makes no sense at all. Some of the stuff is patently absurd. This is New York City, so there's a lot of dishonesty and crookedness in New York City, obviously, right? Probably they found out they had a bunch of people that were just, they weren't doing anything, and they're getting paid a minimum wage, just parking their car somewhere, not picking up anybody, or whatever they do in the day, go to the museum, driving around, whatever, and then collecting their minimum wage and not picking anybody up. It looks to me more like the company is trying to maximize profits for everything. If you got 10 guys on one block, say, no, some of you guys move somewhere else, right? And no, they locked us out of the app. Why would a company not want you to drive for them when the company's making money off of you giving people rides? To me, that's patent absurdity. Unless, of course, like I said, you got a bunch of lazy people lying around. Just like if you wondered how those 50,000 dock workers went on strike, but there were only 25,000 dock workers, it's because like 25,000 of them had this deal where they could stay at home and they get paid because, well, you got to have so many workers here, and even though they're not there, it's like on the waterfront. The crooked mafia guys are sitting at home collecting money for a job they don't even do, right? Well, in this case, maybe they got a bunch of Uber drivers that aren't picking people up, but they decided, oh, we got a minimum wage now, so I'll just make money doing nothing. I can't blame the company on this one. I'm not a big fan of the company, but I'm saying they locked us out. Why would they lock you out if you're making money for the company? If anything, they'd want you to have more rides so they get more money. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.